Hello, what's up, good people? Welcome to SJ News. If you have not subscribed, please do, and feel free to comment. Also, like and share our videos. Today, we are glad to host a very amazing young lady. She is called Wambui, and she'll tell us the rest of her very talented young lady. She is a fashion designer. Welcome, Wambui.
Asante sana Sharon. Hi guys, I am Wambui Kairu. I am a fashion designer. I am a podcaster also. I should say that.
Yeah.
I am a sister, a daughter, a friend. Yeah, that's just me.
So, tell us about your journey. When did you start fashion? Was it your first thing? Did you want to do fashion design in the first place, or you wanted something else and then you landed to do fashion design?
Okay, so I'll start with when did I start? I started fashion design in 2015, so it's been like 6 years down the line. It was not mine. It was never my idea. It was never the first thing that I wanted to do when I was out of school. I am a communication girl. I am a PR girl. I keep saying one day I'll venture into communication and all that. Not necessarily mass media, but something to do with communication. So my idea when I cleared high school, I wanted to just do communication. I just wanted to do something that involves communication. Fashion was never my first thing, my first thought. And it has been a journey because it was something that was not literally pushed down my throat, but it was someone else's idea. So to answer your question, if when did I start and how did I get into it, I have an uncle of mine who came for me at home. It was around May hapo kasijakosea. I just cleared high school, so tulikuwa tu tumechill. Plus results zetu was course natokea mapema, so we didn't like knew our results immediately after school. We were talking too much. So I had like 2 months of processing what I got to actually think to actually know what I'm going to do. So he called me and told me, "Uko happy? I need to take you somewhere." So he told me to meet him at Gedo. Tukapatana 45. Tukaenda, he took me to Ngara. So Ngara there's a market ya mafundi pekee inaitwa Nyayo. Na that is where my journey started. So he took me to he first of all showed me around, then told me he said this in the next few years to come, fashion and design will be the biggest industry in the market, in the world. And it is actually it is known, it is big, yeah? And yeah, that is how I started. From there, that is where I got my teacher. He's still my teacher up to date. I didn't go to school of fashion or something. I just learned from someone, watched, learned.
How has the journey been? Have you enjoyed being in the industry, or you want to change?
The journey has been wow. It has just been it has been amazing. I would say it has been tough for a while, but it has been really, really eye-opening because fashion is very personal. It is not just any creative. I keep saying that. If you're a creative, if you're a photographer, if you're a designer, if you're a videographer, if you're an editor, if you're doing mass like you, it takes a lot. If you're an artist, kama uchora, kama we uimba, it is very personal. It is a very personal experience. So it has a lot of emotions. So I'll say it has been very eye-opening and amazing. And I'm glad to be here, honestly. As in, I don't think right now I would want to do anything else. It has been, every time I'm learning something, I'm just like, yes, I think I'm doing good. So yeah.
So you will never change into something else?
I wouldn't say I would never, but I would love to, of course, do something else, not just fashion. And with fashion, I'd love not only to just make clothes for people, but also to inspire other people who would want to join fashion. And by inspiring, I just don't mean walk the talk. I want to make some other people who are younger, who didn't do the first thing that they wanted to do after high school or something, to know that you can actually get into something, and it may be your passion, it may be what God made you to do, you know. So I wouldn't change it, but I'd love to do something else. I'd love to just have an idea. I'm an education babe. I'm that person that always keeps telling people, me, if I want to go to, I'll do masters, I'll do everything that involves education. I'm not that those people that always say ati watu wanasoma na wapati kazi. It is sawa wapati kazi, but you're very different from the rest of us.
Sure.
So I'll actually say I'll do something else that maybe does not involve fashion. I've recently loved how the human mind works, and I'm thinking of psychology maybe. It is a very recent passion. Maybe psychology and maybe communication also. I'd love to do it to greater heights. So yeah, I wouldn't change fashion, but I'd love to do something. I would just love to have something else on the side. Yeah.
So what do you do to want to do psychology? Why psychology and not anything else?
As I've just said, I've recently started learning how the human mind works. I just love to know why people do what they do. I just want to know that. I just love to know. I just love to know that from a perspective of someone who's learned the human brain. So I'd love to know why. And I'm that person who's always asking questions and always wanting to know the reason behind it. So I'd love to know why people act like that, why people react to some things, why people do things the way they do, why I also behave like how I behave. So it is just a recent passion. Not even shared it with anyone. You're the first person I told. You're special.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So back to fashion now. What is that creation that you've made and you feel like, wow, I've done this?
I've made a lot. I've made a lot of things.
Which is that one that stood out for you?
One that stood out, that I've made with my own hands. There's a dress I made for my grandma. Kitambo sana. It is how, you see the patterns are, like this pattern is kind of animal print, yeah? So it was a kitenge print, and the patterns were so hard to put together because of the design. And I nailed it. I totally nailed it. It was big for me. As in, it is how just, when you start something from scratch, people who don't know your vision won't know how this thing is going to look like. So every time I make something new, it is the outcome of the prints. It is what wins my heart. It is just amazing. It's just how someone will say, these things, they look so nice. As in the way
the patterns.
Yeah, the patterns, the way you've aligned them. So that is my win. When it comes to pattern alignment, I think in fashion, I do that very well. My skill is not really perfect because I keep learning every day, but I'll say I'm still learning a lot. I've made something for you, so you know.
Yeah, definitely.
It is a process. It is a process, trust me. But I keep telling myself, you know what? I'm learning every day. Yeah.
So in your line of work, have you ever gotten insults? Like, for example, someone says, this is not what I wanted you to make for me. Have you gotten such insults?
I have. When I started, I was very young, so I was working for someone. But then the insults were really not directly affecting me because it was not my business. But now, recently when I opened my business, I've made things for people, a lot of people, and sometimes someone won't like it. They won't necessarily insult you, but they'll just tell you, I don't like this thing. How I respond, it is literally the most important thing. Because recently I made something for someone, and now that is when there was vulgar-ish insults and all that. And I was just like, I have gotten to a place where the people who really insult you are those ones with very low budget. To be honest, you want something that can cost 6,500, but you want me to make it with 1,200. And then when I don't meet your needs, you now feel like, you can insult me. So right now it doesn't affect me, but insults are there. Every time you get people. And then there's this name that everyone has for fundis. We are liars. And to be honest, I keep telling my clients, if I don't know how to make something, I'll tell you. If I cannot meet your needs at a certain time, I'll just tell you. If I cannot meet your deadline, I'll just tell you, this at this particular time, it's not possible. So this notion of fundis are liars and all that, it is a bad thing. And being a very, very, very young designer, I am dealing with now the mistakes of my ancestors who are fundis before. You've seen that trend of what I ordered, what I you know. Plus, I want to politely tell you, you don't look like that model you brought me the dress that you want me to make for you. But I can't do that because you don't want to come and you know. So I'm just like, I'll make you this, but just know it won't look like how it looks here. So it is about time people stop punishing us for things that our previous, our past generation did. It's not my fault that you look like that, and I've made something that does not look you like whatever you wanted on Pinterest. So insults are there, but I don't go on that. Yeah, it's how I react, and it will also depend with the client. So there are people with very, very expensive taste with no budget.
In fashion, there are those people who, or in any career, there are those people who hold your hand. So in this case, who has been your support system? Who has held your hand up to here?
I'll say my family. Because even starting, it was my uncle, So all through it has been family. For me, every time, you know, there's always a narrative about family and not supporting your business. It is true, there are those people who don't really support your business. But then again, there's also a bigger percentage of people who support your business, hindsight. Because even when I started the first business, the person who gave me the money for capital, it was my grandfather. The second time I started, it was my father. My mother has been there all through with a lot of motivation. So I keep telling people, when you come to me to bring business for me, you're not motivating me. No, you're not. I get that a lot from my mom. Every day. Even when I don't go to work, she's just like, mbona wendi kazi? Aki mama kuna kazi. Uko kwa nyumba unasema hakuna kazi. How will you know kuna kazi kama uko kwa nyumba, you know? So for me, family has been my number one support system. I'll say that strongly. My uncles have come through mbaya for me every time. Hata nikikosa fare, I know who to call. It's not friends, it is my family. So friends are also a bigger part of this because they've mentioned me in rooms, they've mentioned my name somewhere. They've given me businesses. Right now I'm working on a project, and it is a friend who said my name somewhere, and I feel very honored to have a very genuine support system because it is genuine. You'll feel when something is genuine, it is very genuine. So how it started, when it's family who introduced me to fashion, I'm always grateful for him. The first person who employed me was also family. So it has been family all through. And friends also.
Recently you featured in a should I say modeling? For a very big designer in the country. So how did you land there?
Well, first of all, I'm very honored, and I am still honored, and I'm still just awed by it. I'm just, wow, how did I get here also? So it was, he's called Philbert. He's a designer, very, very big designer in the country. He's a designer, stylist for celebrities. And you see there, I know there's someone in the mass communication industry, in the industry you'd love to be with, I would love to work with. So that is what I kept doing. I kept looking at his page. Every time he posts something, every time he has an event, I'm there liking. I'm just like, I one day want to host such an event. I would one day want to meet him. You see, then they say you don't meet your role models, you know. So I had manifested in my heart, I'd love to work with someone like him, because I look up to, I know that we'll get into that question. So he's one of those people that I always looked up to in this business, because fashion industry is very huge. It is.
So recently you worked with a very famous designer. How did you land to that place? How did you land to working with him?
I'll start by saying I was so honored. I'm still honored that he got to pick me as one of the people who would wear his designs. So what happened, I just put myself out there. Just shoot your shot everywhere, not only in relationships, not only in anything, just do it. So that is literally what happened. By extension, he's just an amazing soul, and I've always wanted to work with him. I manifested I want to work with someone like him. I keep looking at his page, and it's even weird that when I got to have a seat with him, I was just like, whoa, see God, man, see God. So it was such a mind-blowing experience because he's a designer. I got to see his work, his office, even with the fittings, and it was just very humbling. I would say very humbling. He's such an amazing person, and you cannot work in this fashion business alone. And people say, oh, if you want to walk far, go alone. But if you want to walk fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with people. You can't just do it alone. So you need people to keep reminding you that this business is actually going and is actually going somewhere. And there are a lot of people right now who are, especially influencers and Instagram people, everyone is opening their own fashion line, and they need us. At the end of the day, they need people to make those things for them. They are not just buying them. Even if they are bought, then see hindsight, there are people who are doing this. So I'll say it was a very, very mind-blowing experience for me. And I've never modeled before. I've never worn heels. I've never even I don't even have a pair up to date. It was a very, very shocking, and for me it was very shocking because simply because I've never done fashion. I've never done modeling, like runway modeling. I'll just post for photos, yes. Even when I told him, Mimi, I think I need to pull out. I can't do this. I can't. He's like, I got you. What do you mean pull out? You cannot leave. I have all this covered, and he was literally my biggest support during that time. He was cheering me on so much. He was just like, oh boy, don't worry. You already look amazing in that dress. You don't even need to walk for people to see. So it was a very humbling experience, and I'm always grateful. I'll always be grateful.
Okay. So how did he call you?
So what happened? He posted he wants models for a show, and I was just like, let me just do it. By the way, because these people already have their own people. So I was just like, hi, I'm interested. And the next day he replied, hi, come for fittings. Hey.
It was meant to happen.
It was meant to happen. So when I got to the office, I didn't find him. Plus, penye anafanya kazi, so it's a door, then other offices. So I called the number that replied to me, and it was not him. He's like, he's marketing, whatever. So I'm going to give you his number. He's like, uko serious? You're just scared. It's like right now, if you get to meet the president, someone gives you his number, be like, how am I going to talk to this person? So I'm like, hi, I am Wambui. You told me to come for fittings today. Hi Wambui, just get in. You're in the office, yeah. Like, wait, what? Okay. So I went for the fittings. I got my fittings taken, and then the following day not like 2 days later, he made the dresses with other people, with other models that were working for him. Then some adjustment here and there. And then it was just a beautiful, beautiful day. It was just awesome. I'll just tell anyone who wants to, if you want to work with someone, just push yourself. Just shoot that shot. What is there to lose? Imagine nothing. So just
actually, you have everything to gain.
Yeah, you have everything to gain. He might say no, it won't kill you. He might say yes. You get to work with him. So it was just a yes for me. I'll say he's something else. He's phenomenal, trust me.
Who are those people who you look up to in the world of fashion?
I'll say Big Bat is the first one. There's one in Kenya. There's one called Yvonne Afro Street. She's also a very, very big designer. And there's Taylor's 001 for City Fusion clothing in Kenya. Then there's recently I've started following some South African guy. Fashion is big. If I say Louis Vuitton, if I say those big brands, I may not get. I do not even have an idea how I can reach to how the levels that those people are in. But literally, I love their work ethics, how they deal with clients, how big their industries are. It is not just the brand. It's something big that is impacting people. There's also one in Kenya who is called Looks Like a Video, and he's doing great things, inspiring. He's actually teaching deaf people, people with disabilities to sew clothes and all that. So, Kenya, I just want to work with the 4 people I've mentioned, and because there are people you can easily access. I know if his office is somewhere, you can easily go there and talk to them, and they, their work ethics, how they deal with things, how they deal with clients. So I'd say those 4. Yeah.
And what advice would you give someone who wants to venture in the fashion design world?
Just start. But don't start, just start well. Yeah, because everyone starts. Kila mtu huanza, then what? Start and start well. And make sure you have a very stable mind for it. It is a tiring job. This job of ours, like 10 years from now, maybe I'll be needing therapy. You need a lot of guts to work with different people, especially when you're making clothes for people. It is a very daunting work, and I think every work is exhausting, but you need to start well and ask. Because there's one thing I actually keep telling people, and I know for sure, I don't have shame. I'll ask. I know I am struggling in this field, I can't make something well, I'll ask. I also talk to my fellow designers. I also talk to the people that I can access. Yeah, I also talk to people with, just ask. Don't be afraid to ask, because you now look like a fool when you don't ask, because you just ignore and do something. But then when you ask, you have nothing to lose. You have absolutely nothing to lose. So just ask. Start well. Don't just start, because you can even have 100,000 and you set up machines and you set up your business. You have a very nice fashion house, but then what? And it is not always about the money, because the money is not there. I'll not lie to you, it is not there. Yeah. So it is not always about the money. These first few years there's no money. It is not always about the money. You're building your brand. You're building what people are going to say out there. When when someone sees me with something, they'll remember me for what I wore, not how I talk, how I looked. It is just, you wore something very nice. I remember you. So I want to make such statements. Filbert keeps saying, kila time ukitembea mahali wape kipindi. Every time you go to a show or something, you're doing something, make sure it is a show. People talk about that dress, people talk about that suit, people talk about your show, yeah? So it is just starting well. And above all, pray a lot, because there's a lot of fights, there's a lot of things that are pulling people down. You can quit anytime. This fashioning thing, my friend, uta quit. Imagine uta quit, utaacha, because there's a lot of fights, there's a lot of stones thrown at you. Sometimes you don't feel like you're supported enough. You have to be very emotionally stable for actually these things to work, to literally work. So first thing, start well. Second thing, ask, and don't tire to ask. Just ask. You look stupid, Dio, but just ask. Another thing, always learn from other people, and listen a lot, and it has just been God's grace to be here and you're an artist. You're literally starting things from scratch and making it something. Those are God's special people. God just gave you that mind of creating something new, of making something look very beautiful. So you are a creative, and that is what God was. He's a creator, and you're a very special person. Don't forget that, and don't let anyone put you down for something that they can't do. Me catering someone tells me, oh, sijui kushona, wewe unaweza shona. Thanks. So we move forward. As in, don't let people make you feel bad about your job, because there are people who usually, that is the thing, that is what they do for. Best. They'll just make you feel so bad about it, and it is very bad, and it is very wrong. Don't be that person. Listen to people, and learn also. Just don't listen, and let money not be your drive when you get into anything, not just fashion. I think when you set your mind at when I become a pilot, I'm saying a pilot because I just had an aeroplane. When you become a pilot, that money is the first thing that you're going to like your first goal. Even if you tell me I want to make something, then my first thought is just the money I'm going to make out of it. Sometimes I make some things that I don't even get anything for, even credit. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
It is difficult like that. So don't. It is not about the money. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So probably you'll give us your closing remarks, something you want to get to the world. You can say it right now before we end.
Okay, my closing remarks. First of all, can I thank you so much for having me?
Yes, you're welcome.
I feel so good.
Thank
You're
you
doing
so
such a
much.
great job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I wouldn't say you're my home girl, you're my home girl. people know that, yeah? So you're doing such a great job, and thank you so much for having me. I am so honored to be here. You're targeting BBC, CNN. You'll get that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, onto me, I am glad to be here, and I am grateful that the Lord has been so faithful. Above all, I'm grateful for the support that I've had. And I'll say that I've become so different with this fashion journey, trust me. Especially when I got into my own thing now, because I've done self-employment now for 2 years. We're getting 2 years, yeah. So I'll say that I have learned a lot, and I keep learning. I'm learning a lot of things, and I keep saying this in my podcast. I'm learning, relearning. I keep learning patterns. I keep unlearning toxic things. I keep, it is just business, nothing personal. It is just business, nothing personal. So that should be closing remarks. It is just business, nothing personal.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much also for accepting to come to our show. I'm really honored and humbled, and may God enlarge your territories, and may you work also with those people who you're wishing to work for. Yes. Thank you very much, our dear viewers, for watching our show. I have been your girl, Sharon Kamau at SG News.